In 2011, a single moment of nature's fury rewrote Japan's history and honestly stunned the world. A magnitude 9.0 earthquake beneath the Pacific Ocean ruptured more than 300 miles of the seabed, displacing millions of tons of water and unleashing a tsunami nearly 50 feet high. Entire towns were swept away in seconds, over 20,000 lives were lost and hundreds of thousands of homes were destroyed. The Fukushima nuclear disaster only magnified the horror. The world had watched Japan rise after disasters before, but this one demanded an unprecedented response. For decades, engineers and historians alike would study that event not just as a tragedy, but as a lesson in resilience, human ingenuity, and the lengths a nation will go to survive nature's most violent forces. Japan had to rethink how it defends itself against the ocean. The 2011 disaster proved that Japan's old defences, designed for 26-foot waves, were hopelessly inadequate. The answer was not simply higher walls, but smarter, scientifically engineered structures built to absorb and redirect unimaginable forces. Japan embarked on the construction of a continuous 400-kilometre tsunami wall along the Tohoku coastline, a project that would test the limits of engineering and human determination. It wasn't just about concrete, it was about understanding water, waves, and the earth beneath. Engineers recreated the tsunami in wave tanks, studied how water overtopped barriers, and experimented with different heights, slopes, and reinforcements until every millimetre was optimized. The final design was a 50-foot wall with foundations plunging 80 feet deep, built not just to stand, but to give people the precious minutes they would need to survive. Every segment of the wall had its own story of engineering mastery. Construction of such a monumental structure required meticulous preparation. The coastline is not uniform, and soil conditions varied from weak sandy patches to rocky outcrops. In some areas, engineers reinforced the ground with deep piles of steel and concrete, compacted layers of sand, and carefully placed crushed rock. Foundations were dug more than 20 metres deep, often with temporary cofferdams holding back the sea, while massive concrete bases were poured. Above them, enormous steel cages were assembled and filled with concrete section by section, each block perfectly aligned and connected to the next, forming an unbroken line of defence. Special tetrapods and energy-dissipating blocks were stacked along the base to break the force of incoming waves, while stepped faces and ledges reduced the height of water surges. In port towns, sophisticated hydraulic gates were designed to protect ships without interrupting marine traffic, either dropping from above or rising from the seabed, depending on the location. Every segment tells a story of adaptation, problem-solving, and relentless precision. The wall could not have existed without Japan's underwater expertise. While the tsunami wall protects the land, Japan's underwater construction expertise keeps its transportation and trade alive even under extreme conditions. Underwater tunnels connect islands, span bays, and maintain vital economic arteries, often in places where bridges or ferries are no longer practical. These projects begin with exhaustive surveys of the seabed, studying soil, rock stability and potential hazards, while simultaneously assessing environmental impacts. Prefabricated concrete segments, each weighing tens of thousands of tons, are carefully lowered into dredged positions and joined with watertight seals. Every aspect of the construction, from rubber gaskets to sand and gravel anchoring, is designed to withstand extreme pressure and decades of use. These tunnels not only allow safe passage for vehicles and goods, but they demonstrate how engineering and careful planning can conquer some of the harshest environments on the planet. Japan's approach shows how history and survival intertwine. The lessons from 2011 extend far beyond engineering. They are lessons in observation, adaptation, and foresight. Japan studied history, understood the limits of past defenses, and applied that knowledge in practical life-saving ways. The tsunami wall and the underwater tunnels are more than infrastructure. They are symbols of a nation that refuses to be a victim of its geography. For survivalists, historians, and those fascinated by the intersection of human ingenuity and natural disaster, these projects offer invaluable insight. They remind us that survival is rarely about reacting in the moment. It is about preparation, study, and a relentless commitment to understanding the forces around us. Even the most formidable defenses require constant vigilance. While the tsunami wall and underwater tunnels represent some of the most advanced engineering feats on Earth, they are not invincible. Tsunamis can exceed expectations. Earthquakes remain unpredictable, and the sea is ever-changing. That is why Japan continues to monitor, maintain, and improve its defenses. Sensors embedded in tunnels measure pressure, vibration, and water intrusion, while periodic inspections of walls ensure concrete integrity. The message is clear. Survival is a continuous process, not a one-time effort. Engineering is powerful, but it must be paired with knowledge, readiness, and respect for nature. Japan's story is a blueprint for resilience and preparation. The combination of colossal tsunami walls and precise underwater tunnels reflects a larger philosophy. History teaches, engineering saves, and preparation ensures survival. These projects are living lessons for anyone who studies history, disaster response, or survival strategy. They offer insight into how nations, communities, and individuals can anticipate danger, act decisively, and protect life even in the face of unimaginable forces. For survival enthusiasts and history buffs alike, Japan's response to the 2011 tsunami is a case study in foresight, discipline, and the relentless pursuit of resilience. As we explore these feats, remember that history is not just something to study. It is something to learn from and apply. The story of Japan's walls and tunnels is still unfolding, and every wave, every inspection, every maintenance task carries forward the lessons learned from a catastrophe that shocked the world. If you value this kind of deep insight and want to explore more incredible survival strategies and historical engineering feats, make sure to subscribe to Survival Logic and share this video with fellow enthusiasts. There are always more lessons waiting just beneath the surface.